Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at SVerchok calculate mask node. Okay, so this node by default might be slightly confusing. If you want to know how it works, you check the online documentations. And this is one example. This is in here. So basically, the node will actually do something with mask. It's calculating mask based on the input data. Right. So let me show you an example. Let's say you start with a plane and you are doing a bevel. So by default, let's take a look. So if we do a bevel, and let's just switch the vertex mode in this case, have a little bit of bevel. So we have this. So we have output like new polygon. So new polygon is the newly created polygon face. So this is interesting, right? Sometimes if you maybe you want to do extrusion, so you extrude based on the region. Sometimes you want to work only on this area. So there is this mask input that needs something. So this calculate mask can get like a set of polygon face and the subset. So there is this level, etc. But for now, we don't worry about that. So with this mask, we can get a result that's only extruding this area or the invert of it. So let's take a look. So this is extrusion, hopefully working. Okay. There you go. Okay, the scale doesn't seem to work individually. But maybe we can do this. Okay. So anyhow, that's with the extrude region. Maybe we should have used like something like inset special. So inset special, we're gonna do, if we do it without mask, so inset special will do an inset for every polygon face. You can see here. But if we use the mask, okay, it's the result is different, and we can actually negate the mask. This is because, okay, let's save this first. This is calculate mask video. In some nodes of SVerchok, if we use extrude region, we actually have automated mask. Not every node have this. So Inset Faces also have this automated mask. More or less, this one is doing similar thing. So this actually is something that you can use for the cushion setup that we have before, you know, with the poke to make the comfy cushion box. All right, so on the same note, Inset Special also doesn't have mask, but it has this inset. Inset is the new face that's being created. So if you want to have access to that face and proceed with extrusion, you can use calculate mask, and the subset will be the inset. So if you want to do like inset face, so by default it's looking like this. It's inserting everything, but if you use the mask, yeah, okay, it's cleaner. So you can basically get something that looks like a poke. Right, so that's pretty interesting. So let's let's see what we can get from here if we actually use poke, dual mesh, and diamond mesh. Okay, so that's a lot of things. All this, the cool thing about all this is like they can work together, and you can combo. Dual mesh is interesting because it's converting poke into something else, and you also have the quad subdivide to quad, so you have these nodes to play with to change the topology. So this is the default, right? And then you can perhaps use dual mesh. Okay, we don't need the edges. Actually, dual mesh doesn't work in this case. Use diamond mesh. Okay, we have that result. Very interesting. And maybe we should use poke. Yeah, so poke. Suddenly you have something that's completely wild in terms of topology. Let's say if we don't use plane, we use box. What we gonna get? Occasionally you get something that's really a little bit too complex, almost like fractal, even though it's not really fractal because there's like a pattern already with the blobs, things like that. A diamond, I'm using subdivide here, and you can smooth it so you have this. At this point it's experimental, but I normally try to keep everything like kind of clamped, you know, you don't go over certain values, so, but you can try to go over it because you don't want to have overlap. Inset distance, you can negate. Thickness, depth. So by this point we probably have something that's a little bit, it's not quad anymore. So if you want everything go back to quad, you use this subdivide to quad. And this one, if you combine it with dual mesh, maybe. It doesn't have edges, so yeah, dual mesh doesn't seem to do anything unless we use poke beforehand. Of course, this is kind of pattern that you get when you are using dual mesh. Everything become non-quad, okay? So maybe you want to use subdivide again. But this is a very interesting result, I think. So let's frame this. So we have this result. It looks like a sea cucumber, but just a lot of it, you know, like mutated sea cucumber. Alright, so there you go. That's a quick look at the calculate face, calculate mask. So I'm using it twice. There's this example here, of course. This is also kind of interesting. This one is using Inset Special. Inset Special itself have something interesting, like make inner. This one can be on and off. Yeah, it's totally up to you, but I think this result is pretty good. And after you do this, imagine if you're using like a tissue add-on and applying something on every face of this. It's going to be pretty wild. Give it a try yourself. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.